Good morning, children. Now, today we move on to the third part of population. But before that, let us discuss what we had done in the previous lesson. Now, in the previous session, we had discussed about the sex ratio of India and Brazil. And it said that the sex ratio of India had been rather unfavorable due to, say, various reasons like, say, preference for the male child, dowry, and also because of female infanticide. Brazil, of course, there has been a, increase in trend of, say, the sex ratio, and it has always been above, say, 1,000. According to 2010 census, the sex ratio of Brazil was 1,040. Now, let's move on to the next part of population composition, where we are going to deal with age composition. Now, in our population, you have people belonging to various age groups, or age composition refers to the number of people in the different age groups in a country. Now, the percentage of children, working class, and aged groups are important factors which determine the social and economic structure of the population. Now, here we can divide the population into three: children below 15 years, working population in the age group of 15 to 59 years, and above 59 years. Children above, say, children below 15 years, now this refers to children who are in the school going age. They are economically unproductive. We have to provide them with food, clothing, education, and also medicines, say, etc. Medical provisions have also to be provided to these children, and hence we find they are economically unproductive. Next is the working population, and this refers to those who are in the age group of 15 to 59 years. They are economically productive and they belong to the working class. The population above 59 years, these are retired persons, and though they are economically productive, being engaged in various voluntary organizations, etc., they are not in the, recruited, they're not under recruitment for employment as they've already retired. We move on to the next topic, that is age and sex pyramid. Age and sex pyramid is used to study the age and sex related aspects of a region's population. Now, this age and sex graph will tell us about the percentage of the age groups of various males and females in a country. Now, if you look at the graph here, this is the age and sex pyramid graph of Brazil according to 2010, and this is the graph of India. Now, if you look at the graph of Brazil, you find both here in India as well as in Brazil, we find the proportion of children as well as the youth is more. But if you take India, for example, in the 80 age group, we find the percentage of people in the 80 age group is comparatively less when we compare that with Brazil. Here, people above 80 years or more. So, now let's come back to the explanation. Here, in this graph, we found that the number of people who are young is more in both the countries. In the case of youth as well as children, in India you find the number is more. At the same time, people above 80 years is more in Brazil. Now, such a type of pyramid indicates development of any country. At the same time, we also will have to remember that more the number of people in the younger age group, more will be the economic development. Let us move over to population growth rate. Look at the graph of India and Brazil. Now here, population growth rate of Brazil, you find the line graph has shown a decline from 1960 to 2000. Look at the line graph of India here, which shows the growth rate of India. You'll find from 1961 up to 1971, you find there has been a steady increase in growth rate of population, and it has been rather say steady till 1981, and then there has been a gradual decline in the growth rate of population till say 2011. And if you compare that with Brazil, you find there has been a decrease in population, but at the same time, you can't say that it is only comparative. It is only compared to the previous years, you find there has been a decline. Now, let us come to the explanation of growth rate. Now, under growth rate, we are going to deal with birth rate, death rate, and migration. What is birth rate? Now, birth rate refers to the number of live births per thousand of the population. In India, of course, right from the beginning, birth rate has always been increasing. What about death rate? What is death rate then? Death rate refers to the number of deaths per thousand of the population. Now, till 1980, birth rate has been increasing, and there was very slight decrease in the death rate. And of course, the population growth rate showed an increase. After 1981, there was a decline in birth rate. Death rate also began to decrease, and the population growth rate began to decline gradually. So, any increase in population is always a difference between the birth rate and the death rate. If you look at the graph of India, you find from 2001 to 2011, India's population increased by 18.2 crores. At the same time, from 1971, there has been a decrease in population. Now, in Brazil, there has been a marked decline in growth rate of population, and it is said that in another 2 decades, the population of Brazil is not going to decrease. Now, let us move over to another factor concerning growth rate. It is migration. Now, migration refers to the movement of people from the rural areas to urban areas to find employment. Now, people move from one region to the other because of poverty, because of unemployment. Now, if the movement is within the country, there might not be any increase in the growth rate. But if the movement is from one country to the other, the growth rate may increase or decrease. Now, we move over to the next topic, that is life expectancy. What is life expectancy? Life expectancy is the average number of years a person born in a country is expected to live. Let us look at the line graph of Brazil and India to understand this. In 1960, if you look at this, there has been a steady increase right from 1960 up to 2010, when life expectancy of Brazil was 75. Let's come over to India. Now, from 1960 up to 2010, we find there has been a steady increase in life expectancy. It is 68 years in 2016. Now, let's come to the explanation here. Now, life expectancy has increased due to various reasons. It is due to increased medical facilities and also because of the control of many diseases, and also we find there has been an increase in, say, nutrition. We find and hence we find the life expectancy of people has been increasing gradually. In India, we find in 1960, the life expectancy of people was 41 years. But now, because of medical facilities which are easily available and also nutritious food being easily available, we find life expectancy has increased up to, say, 68 years. In many countries, like African countries, sub-Saharan countries, etc., life expectancy is still very, very low. Increase in life expectancy is a very good indicator which proves the economic development of that region. Let's move over to literacy rate. Now, literacy rate also is a very important quality of population. Literacy rate is a key for socio-economic progress. Now, let us look at the literacy graph of Brazil and India. Now, here, literacy rate has slowly increased from 74.5% to 92%. And in India, it is increased from 40% to 72.2%. So, what is literacy then? Literacy is the ability of a person to read and write. Literacy rate, in other words, is the percentage of people in a certain sample of population or a country that have the ability to read and write. Of course, you might have known the importance of literacy, for only if the population is literate will it be informed, will it be educated. So, being informed and educated helps you to make choices, that is, intelligent choices can be made and undertake research and development projects. In many African countries, you find literacy levels are very, very low, which becomes a hindrance for economic development. So, through the years, right from 1961 up to say 2016, here, there has been a steady increase in the literacy rate of India due to various schemes which are brought about by the government. According to 2011 census in India, the most literate state was Kerala, followed by Lakshadweep and Mizoram. But another interesting factor to be noted here is, according to 2019, there's another state which has overtaken even Kerala, that is Tripura. Now, the next we are going to deal with is literacy rate. Literacy rate is also a very important quality of population. It's key to the socio-economic progress. Now, what is literacy then? Literacy refers to the ability of a person to read and write. And hence we find literacy rate is a percentage of people in a certain sample of population or a country that have the ability to read and write. Let us look at the line graph of Brazil and India. Now, if you observe, right from 1961 up to 2016, we find there has been a steady increase in literacy rate of Brazil. Look at India then. Again, in 1991, we find literacy rate was 46.2. It showed a steady increase, and in 2016, the literacy rate of India was 72.2. Now, why is literacy important? Now, only if the population is literate will it be informed about the happenings around, because only an educated population can make intelligent choices and undertake research and development projects. In many of the African countries, we find low levels of literacy are a serious obstacle for economic development. Over the years, we find there's been a steady increase in the literacy levels in India because of various policies and projects carried over by the government of India. According to the 2011 census, the most literate state in India was Kerala, followed by Lakshadweep and Mizoram. Now, in 2019, there was another state which overtook Kerala, and you'll be surprised, it is Tripura. Tripura today, according to 2019, is the most literate state. Now, children, I think you have understood population composition. Now, there are also, you'll have to go through the various topics that we have covered under population of India as well as Brazil, and also there is a link attached to this. There's certain questions which you are expected to write. and submit when the school reopens. Thank you, children.